Hello everyone, today I want to do something special. So if you head over to my YouTube creator studio, they added a new button to YouTube called Inspiration. In here you can type some stuff, for example Palworld, and then if you hit get suggestions, it loads a little bit and it creates AI generated things, right? And it shows the interest as well, shows your interest specifically. I think this could be a fun thing. It doesn't really work properly like a lot of these things, it's very general, right? But there was one idea that stuck out when I was playing around with this. And that is this, building a Terraria style base in Palworld. It is a very high popular topic right now, probably due to the Palworld and Terraria crossover. Don't know how this will do realistically. I think it just looks at, oh, Palworld and Terraria? Yes, those are big things together right now. They will love this. So I want to create a video like this. You know, if it actually works and it gets a lot of views, then gosh darn YouTube, you did it. Your algorithm actually works, for once. Alright, let's take a look at this. I didn't do anything with this, I just saved this as an inspiration, because I thought it was interesting. So let's see what I need to do. It comes out with hooks, it comes out with an outline, it has thumbnails, it has titles. So let's start with the top. Building a Terraria style base in Palworld. A unique base design is built in Palworld, inspired by the iconic Terraria style. The video showcases clever construction techniques and creative use of the game's mechanics, offering viewers fresh ideas for their own Palworld builds. Alright, well, sounds interesting enough. So here's the full hook. The intriguing question that everyone must be asking. Tired of the same old Palworld base design? Want to create a truly unique and awe-inspiring home? Then you need to see this. Right, that's the question you guys are asking me. So the next one, I'm gonna promise you the value. Learn the secrets of building a Terraria-inspired masterpiece in Palworld. This video reveals clever building techniques and creative use of the game mechanics that will level up your base building game. And then here comes the challenge of the video. Think you can build a Terraria-style base in Palworld? This video will put your construction skills to the test, showcasing a base design that's both impressive and functional. Fuck that last one though, it has to be functional as well? Oh no! In what context even? I guess it needs a bed, maybe some workstations? Pals need to be sleeping in it? Okay, well, that's gonna be fun. Alright, let's see the outline. The introduction. Start with a quick intro reminding viewers of the recent popularity of Palworld and enduring charm of Terraria. Alright, here we go. Hello everyone! Today we're playing the very popular Palworld. It has been boosted in popularity again with the Tides of Terraria update. The good old charming game that everybody loved back in 2011. Where people stated, dude, this is just 2D Minecraft. Alright, I think we got that intro down. Briefly showcase the base you're going to build today and tease some of its unique features. Alright everyone, here's the base in its full glory. The unique feature, it's 2D. I hope that was intriguing enough for you guys. It was a good tease, wasn't it? Hype the viewers by mentioning that we'll be using some clever techniques and creative use of the game mechanics. So while creating this base, I had to use clever techniques and had to use my creative insight of these game mechanics to construct what you see before your eyes right now. Alright, I think that's good. Alright, so that's the introduction part over. The core design principles discuss the fundamental principles of Terraria building, emphasizing its focus on function and aesthetics. Well, the fundamental principles of a Terraria building, right? In my mind, it would be 2D. It can have a backdrop, so it is a little bit 3D. So that's what I'm going for. Is it very functional? Probably not. Well, actually, maybe, because if you don't have the forefront, your forelayer, or your forewall, I would say, pals don't get stuck in them, or like in doorways. So technically, you could place structures in there that the bigger pals could use, that they couldn't otherwise. Aesthetically though, yeah, I got nothing. I don't even know what it's supposed to look like yet, I haven't built it yet, at the point of reading this out. Showcase how you'll be translating those principles in the Palworld environment, emphasizing the difference and similarities between the two games. Well, they both have a building system, and they both very heavily focus on combat and bosses. Now, that later part doesn't really help for us currently. However, we could use the building aspect, and seeing as we can place walls, in full access in Palworld, I think creating a 2D home would work really well, except for the stairs. We might have to use shelves or something to create those stairs, because the regular stairs are just going to be too big. Explain your thought process behind choosing specific building materials. Lay out the overall structure of the base. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to do my classic stone bottom and then wooden top. However, the stone bottom is just going to be the foundation of the base. This is something I would do in Terraria as well. Have a different floor than the actual walls. However, I typically would use a different material for the full ground floor, even including the walls in 3D building games. However, in 2D, I generally stick to just the same type for whatever reason. It just looks better. So I'm thinking I'm going to choose that over what I usually do with Palworld. So I'm going to have the full wooden building with a stone foundation. As for the structural layout, I want to have sleeping quarters on the top floor. It's going to be a 2-story building. The workspaces on the bottom floor. And we'll see where the pals will sleep, I guess. Alright, that was the core design principles. Now we go to the construction highlights. Show the construction process, highlighting key design choices and techniques. So while building a 2D home in a 3D environment, one of the biggest challenges is what do you do for stairs? And what do you do in cases of this? When there's a gap. We cannot put a floor here, we don't have any half floors. And stairs are a full tile wide. So what I came up with is this stair design. It actually works, which I'm very impressed with. We can go up and down. And then to get to the other side, I had to place down tables right on top of each other. And as you can see, the wheels, they have to be on the previous table. So it goes a little up and over. And it doesn't really meet well in the middle, which is why I have that cat statue there. Or the pal dressing table, rather. Yeah, the rest was very standard. It's just trying to cram them in at some point. I'm trying to keep things mostly at the back. As you know, that's where you would have it in most 2D games, except for right here. The pal bed had to be in front because there's no more space in the back. And don't ask me how you're going to get up there. Cloud in a bottle or something. Right, that was all future me talking. I hope I did a good job. Explain how you're using Palworld's unique building mechanic to achieve Terraria-inspired vision. Like using specific objects for certain functions or creating unique visual effects. It's all just wooden wall, isn't it? I think this is a very broad thing, and I think this outlines an issue with the AI-generated stuff. It doesn't really know what it's talking about, so a lot of this feels either very repetitive or very out of place for the game you're talking about. Like, Palworld doesn't really have a unique building system, it's just a general grid-based system, which is technically very similar to how Terraria has it as well, just different plane of existence. One is 2D, one is 3D. Feature the most impressive part of the build, showcasing their functionally and aesthetic appeal. Well, here's the entire build in one frame. Isn't it magnificent? Tips for your own builds. Share valuable tips and tricks that viewers can use in their own builds, leveraging the knowledge gained from this project. Mention the best materials for creating specific structures and how to combine them effectively to create a unique look. I wouldn't really say unique, like, it's basically missing one wall face, right? However, Palworld doesn't really have many options, and I do think that stone and wood, they work very well together, basically in any game. It's what I like to use in Terraria, so that's what I'm using in this build as well. Emphasize the importance of experimentation and creativity in Palworld's building system. So as with any game where you are allowed to build, creativity plays a big role, but you're not going to be good at it first try. Sometimes you have to try stuff out. And sometimes restrictions require more experimentation, because even though, for example, we don't have good fencing or banisters. So fun fact, we actually did get fences in this update, which is something I missed up until the point where I was starting to build this, so I didn't know that back then when I was recording that part of the video. You can place benches down, and it looks just like a banister. So that is the creative part that you have to learn by experimenting, and this is something you can apply to basically any game. Also, that bench trick I've used in multiple games, so it's worthwhile doing, even if you're not planning on using it, because you can maybe use it in another game. Alright, and then we're already at the wrap-up and conclusion part of this little experiment. Show the final result of the base, emphasizing its function. Jesus Christ, how many times do I have to do that? I have to talk about this in the opening, I have to talk about it throughout the video, and now it wants me to wrap up, basically saying the exact same things. My god. You know what, here's the base. It looks good. I think. I haven't seen it yet. It's functional, I hope. My god, this AI, man. Share your overall experience building the base, reflecting on the challenges and successes of bringing the design to life. Well, here's future me talking about how much of a pain it probably was. So surprisingly, it wasn't much of a pain. The hardest part was definitely this arch right here. I had multiple designs. It turns out rugs aren't really a good platform. They're nice and flat, but you fall through them. Most other tables, they're just too big. I was at some point thinking of using the log sides or stone pits, but they have a bunch of stuff sticking out, so that wouldn't work either. Yeah, from all of these, maybe the plantations would have worked as well. But this one does go back to that experimenting phase. I decided to go for the Japanese wall in the back, just to give it a bit more variety. And I think it makes it stand out a lot more. Encourage viewers to leave a comment, share their own Terraria-inspired Palworld builds, and suggest future building ideas. Will everyone leave a comment about your own Terraria-inspired Palworld build? Which I imagine probably not a lot of people did, but if you did, leave it in the comments. I'm actually kind of interested to know if anyone else did this. And you could suggest other building ideas, but I'll probably not do them. Unless it sounds really fun. Encouraging viewers to leave comments. I can see where they're coming from. Comments do help with the algorithm after all. But hey, that was the entire outline. Next up we go to thumbnails. And these look very generic AI generated. Because of course they would. I actually do like this one. So let me download that real quick. So I'm gonna try recreate this, but then inside of Palworld. So if I succeeded with this, you'll see it on the screen right now. Alright, and then the final step. We need a good title. So show me more of those titles. The ultimate Terraria base in Palworld. You won't believe this. Insane Terraria inspired base in Palworld. Must see. Why does it have all these things? Like must see. With hidden secrets. Crazy design ideas. I think I'm gonna go for this one probably. Insane Terraria inspired base built in Palworld. Must see. Yeah, I'm gonna choose this one, alright. And that was the entire process of YouTube's new inspiration system. It was actually kind of fun. It's not really something I would typically do. But hey, if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, where we do whatever YouTube tells us to do, leave it in the comments down below. And here is the final product. It is a bit different from what you've seen in the video so far. I've been working on this for a couple days. It will also be uploaded separately, just to see if this video idea really does well, like YouTube says it would. So, enjoy this video. Hello everyone! Today we're playing the very popular Palworld. It has been boosted in popularity again with the Tides of Terraria update. The good old charming game that everybody loved back in 2011. Where people stated, dude, this is just 2D Minecraft. So while creating this base I had to use clever techniques and had to use my creative insight of these game mechanics to construct what you see before your eyes right now. So we all know Terraria is a 2D game while Palworld is 3D. You'd think this might be a bit difficult, but actually it's very easy. All we have to do? Remove one of the walls. And this actually helps out with the larger pals, as they can perform actions inside the base and not get stuck. However, there are going to be some challenges. For example, stairs are a full tile wide, so we cannot use those. Instead, I'm thinking of using shelves that we can walk up on. To keep things simple, I'll be making a 2-story base with a stone foundation, wooden walls, and a Japanese back wall to give it a bit of a pop. But we don't have any half walls, so where the stairs are at, there is a gap, which is not really ideal. To combat this, I placed a couple tables on top of each other. It creates a bit of an arch, but at least you can walk over to the other side. I will say though, my favorite part about this build are the stairs. I really love that you could do this with the shelves. They work absolutely well, and I'm very surprised about that. As well as the wall-floor combination. I actually do quite like that the Japanese walls pop out, while the side walls are regular wood. It just gives it a very unique vibe that I think we can only do in 2D. And while this idea sounds very weird, I think it's important to experiment, as I wouldn't have done any of it if it wasn't for this build. And well, here's the full base in its full glory. It is fully functional with crafting stations at the bottom so the pals could use them, and a bed at the top where we can sleep. Overall, I'm very happy with how it turned out, and it was a fun challenge, especially that overarching part where the stairs are. So with that, if you have any Terraria inspired builds yourself, leave in the comments what you did. And you could suggest other building ideas, but I'll probably not do them. Unless it sounds really fun.